The Jougan is a fascinating yet mysterious Dojutsu in the Naruto Next Generation series. It is a Dojutsu possessed by Uzumaki Boruto, the main protagonist of the series. Boruto has the Jougan in his right eye. So, why is the Jougan considered a mysterious Dojutsu? This is because we still don't know its origin. How did Boruto obtain this Dojutsu? Who gave it to him? These are questions that remain a mystery among fans regarding the Jougan Eye. The Jougan itself is a new Dojutsu introduced in the series, and the interesting part is that, as of now, it is only known to be possessed by Boruto. However, there is also a possibility that the Jougan is a Dojutsu belonging to the Otsutsuki clan, or at least related to that clan. Besides the origin of the Jougan, the abilities of the Jougan are also not fully explained. So far, only a few of its abilities have been shown, such as the ability to perform teleportation and see the weak points of enemies. Many fans have attempted to theorize where Boruto's Jougan came from. Among the many theories circulating among fans, two major theories could potentially answer the big question regarding the origin of the Jougan. The first theory suggests that the Jougan is a Dojutsu given to Boruto by Tonari Otsutsuki. In the movie The Last Naruto the movie, fans were introduced to another member of the Otsutsuki clan, Tonari. Tonari is known to have planned to destroy Earth and all its inhabitants, but his plan was halted after he fell in love with Hinata Hyuga and Hanabi, who were then kidnapped by him. However, his plan was ultimately thwarted by Naruto. In the movie, Tonari implants some sort of spell into Hinata to make her obey his commands, but some believe that what Tonari implanted in Hinata was more like a parasite. Although Naruto later managed to remove it, some fans believe that the parasite might still remain. This provides a distinct difference between Boruto and Himawari. There are also those who believe that Boruto's Jougan should be in both of his eyes, not just one. The second conclusion suggests that Tonari is not the one who gave Boruto the Jougan. Boruto likely gained the power on his own from birth, and it was not given to him by anyone. It is purely his own power. Although it is later explained in the series that the Jougan is linked to the Otsutsuki clan, this does not necessarily mean that Tonari is the one who bestowed it upon Boruto. The second conclusion explains that Boruto's Jougan could have appeared due to a genetic mix between Naruto, Ashura, Hagoromo, and the chakra of Kurama in Naruto's body. Hinata, being a member of the Hyuga clan, is also a descendant of Himura Otsutsuki. Therefore, it makes sense that the Jougan might be related to the Otsutsuki clan and not something given by Tonari. Although the first conclusion is intriguing, the second one seems more logical in explaining the origin of the Jougan. With the mixing of these powerful chakras, this could be the reason why Boruto's power level differs from that of ordinary shinobi. He often shows his superiority compared to his peers and even some jonin. It will be interesting to see how Boruto will master all of his abilities. Another question that arises is whether Himawari also possesses the Jougan power. Some fans believe that Himawari might have half of Boruto's Jougan. However, given the history of female characters in shounen stories, where males tend to be stronger, it seems unlikely that Himawari would be significantly stronger than Boruto. The Jougan has shown the ability to see and feel chakra. In the Naruto series, chakra is the power used to form the techniques performed by ninjas. With his Jougan, Boruto can track specific chakra signatures. In the future, Boruto may use this ability to trace anyone. He could even act offensively just by observing someone's chakra network. There's a theory that the Jougan might combine the abilities of the Sharingan and Byakugan. It seems that no one truly knows what the Jougan is. Even though some have seen it, the Otsutsuki clan immediately recognizes it. This has led to speculation that the Jougan is an ancient Kekkei Genkai that has not been seen in several generations. It may have existed for decades, and Boruto might need to seek out the Otsutsuki clan to find answers, as they are the only ones who truly understand his eye. The Otsutsuki might not be willing to share this information. The Jougan is literally translated as pure eye. The creators of Boruto may eventually reveal why this Kekkei Genkai is called the Pure Eye. Once its full power is revealed, the meaning of its name may also be explained. Teenage Boruto is shown to have full control over both the Jougan and Karma. When Boruto was younger, he was not skilled at controlling either. Even when he was a child, characters like Sasuke, Hinata, and Neji seemed to have mastered their Kekkei Genkai. Boruto, however, could not control his powers yet, but eventually, he will be able to. Both the Jougan and Karma manifested randomly in Boruto. Byakugan is in Boruto's maternal family, and his younger sister Himawari is known to have inherited this power. Initially, Naruto creator Masashi Kishimoto planned to give the Byakugan to Boruto but later claimed he forgot to give that ability to him. The creators of Boruto have repeatedly stated that the Jougan is not related to the Byakugan. This Kekkei Genkai is said to be something new or too ancient to be a part of what is already known. So, the Jougan is not related to the Byakugan. Masashi Kishimoto is known for releasing information that misleads his fans. He deliberately includes misleading text in his writing and gives intentionally misleading interviews. A popular fan theory suggests that the Jougan is actually connected to the Byakugan, even though its creator has said otherwise. Many fans have pointed out similarities between the Jougan and Byakugan. They have similar powers and appearances, and the Jougan is also only known to the Otsutsuki, all of whom possess the Byakugan. Fans believe the Jougan may be an evolution of the Byakugan. Kagaya Otsutsuki had two sons. One of them is an ancestor of Naruto, and the other is an ancestor of Hinata. That's why Boruto is a descendant of Kagaya on both sides of his family. There is a theory that suggests Boruto might have a stronger gene inherited from the Otsutsuki due to his ancestors. The Jougan may also be the result of Boruto's genetics. If this is true, Boruto may have inherited other powers through his Otsutsuki lineage. Boruto might be the only one who truly poses a threat to the Otsutsuki clan. Momoshiki predicted during their final battle, that Blue Eye will take everything from you. The meaning of this prediction is still unclear. However, this could be connected to the Jougan, especially since the Jougan is often depicted as being blue or bluish-white. Momoshiki also described Boruto's Jougan as difficult. There's a possibility that this prophecy and the label of difficulty are related. The prophecy about the blue eye may be referring more to Boruto's Jougan than the color of his eye. Even though the Jougan only appears in one of his eyes, to understand the full potential of the Jougan, we have to go back to Boruto episode 14. In his confrontation against Nu, Boruto was fortunate that his Jougan worked. It allowed him to find the weak point on the back of Nu's body. With Mitsuki's help, Boruto was able to strike that weakness and really hurt Nu. This weak point is related to the chakra flow in Nu's body. This relates to the ability to find weaknesses. When Boruto looks at Nu with the Jougan, his vision is not an X-ray view. What he sees is not bones or internal organs but the chakra flow of Nu. The ability to see chakra flow could be a huge advantage in battle. Boruto could use it to track his target by their chakra flow. Even though he doesn't have the Byakugan, Boruto's Jougan power could still help him win battles. This is a unique ability shown at the end of Boruto episode 14. Boruto, Mitsuki, and some Aier were running to escape from Nu. Boruto's Jougan then helped him see where Shikadai and Denki were looking for him in Konoha. Boruto seemed to be able to punch the air and open a path to where Shikadai was. If Boruto can use this technique again, he may be able to travel across dimensions. This would be incredibly useful, especially if, in the future, Naruto is truly trapped in another dimension instead of dying. When facing Urashiki Otsutsuki, Urashiki made things difficult for Boruto and Shinki because he could teleport using Yamatsu Hirasaka. Then, Boruto's Jougan activated, and as a result, he was able to surprise Urashiki by predicting where he would appear. This is one of the most interesting powers of the Jougan. Aside from the powers I've mentioned earlier, the Jougan is still truly a mystery. We believe this might not even be all of the Jougan's powers from what has already been shown in the anime. I also want to discuss something important that needs to be addressed. We are trying to analyze the thinking process of Kishimoto-sensei. It remains a mystery why Masashi created so many Uchiha Shin characters. In fact, their existence is still confirmed to be present. They all live in an orphanage owned by Kabuto-san's father. Could it be that Uchiha Shin's existence will become crucial in upcoming episodes of Boruto? The admin thinks this way: if Masashi still maintains the existence of Uchiha Shin, could he potentially restore Sasuke's Sharingan? Or, in other words, could the numerous Sharingan from Uchiha Shin be transplanted into Sasuke's eyes? Hopefully, that might happen. But according to the admin's analysis, Masashi wants to make Sasuke feel like he has lost everything, starting from his severed arm, then his lost eye. It's possible that in the brutal hands of Masashi, Sasuke's leg might also be severed during a fight. Back to the video title, all fans get frustrated when they see their beloved characters become powerless. One example is the motivational figure who replaced Mario Tega, namely Naruto-kun. It's a little frustrating to see Naruto not as strong as before, just because of the impact of his son Boruto's actions. But what else can we do? To focus the story more on Boruto, Naruto, and Sasuke have to take a back seat so Boruto can take on the primary role in the story. Now, I will begin discussing the genius of Orochimaru and Amato. Could they possibly create a fake arm filled with Sharingan for Naruto, like Danzo's arm back in the day? If we assess their abilities, it seems they could certainly do this with their genius. But would they willingly do such a thing? The answer is no, because according to the admin, both Orochimaru and Amato don't want to do things they don't desire. For example, if they did that, Naruto would regain his strength, but they probably can't just do whatever they want anymore. Before we continue, let's briefly talk about how Uchiha Shin obtained his Sharingan. According to the information we gathered, Shin has been around since the Naruto era. After Itachi massacred the Uchiha clan, Orochimaru and Danzo took all the Sharingan eyes from the deceased Uchiha clan members. After that, Orochimaru transplanted the Sharingan into Shin's body, including his right arm, which was later cut off by Orochimaru to be used as a replacement arm for Danzo. That's why Danzo's right arm has many Sharingan. Now, the question is, why did Shin Uchiha awaken the Manjikyu Sharingan? Moreover, the Manjikyu Sharingan pattern from Shin's original body is unlike anything seen before. Even more strangely, the other Shins also have Manjikyu Sharingan with a pattern similar to the original Shin Uchiha. What's even stranger is that Shin Uchiha can activate or deactivate his Manjikyu Sharingan at will. According to fan theories, the original Shin Uchiha escaped from Orochimaru's laboratory before awakening the Manjikyu Sharingan. Then, the original Shin created other Shins as spare parts. Shin is one of Orochimaru's followers and an experiment subject who has a unique genetic structure. His body is able to adapt to many transplanted Sharingan eyes in various parts of his body, not just in his eyes. Orochimaru utilized this unique aspect of Shin's body to plant numerous Sharingan in his right arm, which was then cut off and used as Danzo's replacement arm. Where Orochimaru got all these Sharingan from is still unknown. However, logically, Orochimaru likely obtained them from the corpses of Uchiha clan members after Itachi's massacre. Now, Shin himself doesn't have any Uchiha blood in his body. He declared himself a Uchiha by taking the name Uchiha Shin because of his obsession with the Uchiha clan, especially Itachi. The question is, how could Shin, who has no Uchiha blood, awaken Manjikyu Sharingan in both eyes? And not only that, the Manjikyu Sharingan patterns he has are entirely new. It might be possible that the unique genetics in Shin's body allow him to adapt to multiple Sharingan eyes being transplanted, but to awaken a Manjikyu, that's a whole different matter. Strangely enough, the Manjikyu Sharingan is not just possessed by the original Shin, but also by the clones of Shin. How could this happen? A Manjikyu requires a significant sacrifice to awaken, yet non-Uchiha Shin and his clones seem to have this ability. The weirdness continues. These Shins can deactivate their Manjikyu Sharingan at will, which means they awaken them themselves. They didn't just implant someone else's Manjikyu into their eyes. And because each Shin can activate or deactivate their Manjikyu individually, their Manjikyu is authentic, not an imitation like the Rinnegan Nagato used in his Six Pains or the Sharingan and Rinnegan used by Edo Tensei Jinchuriki. Despite this, the Shins still seem to share a similar ability. How advanced is Orochimaru's experiment with these clones? So, How did Uchiha Shin awaken his Manjikyu Sharingan? Here's our theory: when Shin escaped Orochimaru's lab, he didn't have Manjikyu Sharingan. His Manjikyu Sharingan appeared after he escaped with some of his clones, whom he considered spare parts, in case his own body got damaged and needed organ replacements. It's possible that Shin's Manjikyu awakened for the first time after he was severely wounded and had to transplant one of his clone's organs. As we know, a Sharingan from a non-Uchiha can awaken a Manjikyu when the user experiences intense emotional stress, like what happened to Kakashi when he killed Rin. Perhaps, even though the clones were considered spare parts, when Shin saw one of them die because he took its organs, it caused him trauma in his brain, which then triggered the awakening of his Manjikyu. Since this tragic event wasn't witnessed by just one Shin, all the clones also experienced the same emotional trauma, and thus their Manjikyu Sharingan awakened all at once. And since each Shin was created from the same genetic line, and their Sharingan eyes are original, created through cloning, not transplanted, their Manjikyu Sharingan patterns ended up being identical. Now, let's discuss Naruto. Could Naruto use Sharingan if such an operation were to happen? According to the admin, yes, it's possible. After all, we know that Naruto has some of Hashirama's cells implanted in his body, which were planted by Tsunade after the shinobi war against Kagaya Otsutsuki. So, like Danzo, who was able to control many Sharingan with the help of Hashirama's cells, this would make it easier for the user to control their power. Shin Uchiha is one of the antagonists in the Boruto, Naruto Next Generation's anime series. Shin is not originally from the Uchiha clan, he's a result of Orochimaru's experiments, and he idolizes Itachi. His obsession with Itachi led him to adopt the Uchiha name. Shin Uchiha possesses the most Sharingan, with a total of 15 in his body, 2 in his eyes, 2 on his shoulders, 3 on his head, and 6 in his left hand. If his right hand hadn't been used by Danzo, the number would have been even higher. Shin is someone who idolized Itachi, and the reason Itachi died was because he fought Sasuke. This makes Shin hate Sasuke and hold a grudge against him. Shin remains a mysterious character, as his origins are unclear. Will he become the most influential character in the future? The admin feels that there are 2 possibilities, yes or no. So, we'll have to wait and see how Masashi Sensei will develop the Boruto story going forward.